Hi, my name is Ray Cully, and welcome to my first YouTube PowerPoint presentation. Now, can you take about 10 minutes to watch this whole thing? Give or take a minute or two. I want to share a very powerful and important message with you. Kids cut school because of this. Do you know what I'm talking about? And each year kids die because of this. I'm sure by now you know what I'm talking about. That's right. I'm talking about the bully, the ever-growing problem in this country and around the world. Now look at these statistics. 160,000 students every day, not every year, stay home because they're afraid of somebody. If those figures are accurate, that means everybody knows a victim, everybody knows a bully, and what are we doing about that? And if 4,000 young people commit suicide each year, and 10 times that many try it, doesn't that say something about how big this problem is becoming? The year was 1967, 45 years ago, and Stephen Shepard killed himself because he was being bullied. And also from Great Britain, Marie Betham, who just turned 8, she too took her life. Please visit my website, www.bully-proof-U.S.A.com. You'll find some helpful tips on how to deal with a bully, and you'll find some other interesting information there as well, but I'll get to that in a second. And by the way, this is a legitimate business. I'm incorporated in the state of Pennsylvania, which happens to be fourth in the nation for bullying, and it's a non-profit corporation. We're not up and running yet, but that's what this fundraiser and this video is all about. Bully-Proof USA just has one goal. We want to help you bully-proof your kid, and we want to help you bully-proof yourself. Now, it's not going to be easy, but it can be done. Of course, the martial arts and self-defense is involved, but we only teach real karate. We don't teach the kind of stuff that you see in the movies where you're flying through the air. We teach only things that have been proven, and some of these techniques have actually saved my life. And if you already have self-esteem, we help you enhance it. But if you don't know how to find your self-esteem, we will help you find it. And you know the best part? That's right, folks. Once we get this thing up and running, I'll never charge a dime. Unfortunately, the person who needs it the most is usually the person that can't afford it. Now, in addition to teaching traditional karate, which means empty hand, and jiu-jitsu, the art of gentleness, and aikido, which you may have seen in Steven Seagal movies, we also try to build the spirit, the heart, and the soul. Because if you can't believe in yourself, then you don't have a foundation to build upon. And that is paramount. I used to work for special victims at the NYPD. I exclusively investigated cases of child abuse, and I enjoyed my job. But now I've moved on. And before I carried a gun, before I ever wore a badge, and before I ever became a black belt, I was a bullied kid. I was bullied every day. I was beaten up at least once a week because I'm from New York City and I have a mouth and I never back down. But I'm almost 60 years old. And when I was a kid, there weren't anti-bully programs. And you didn't even tell your folks that you were being bullied. There was no outlet. And we all have an inner strength that we need to tap into. Some of us can do it easier than others. I have tapped into my inner strength. And now I want to help you tap into yours. But I can't do it by myself. I do need your help. And right about now you think, okay, this is the pitch, this is the spiel, he's going to be begging for money. Not exactly. I'm going to ask for money, but I don't expect you to give me something for nothing. I don't expect contributions. I don't expect handouts. But please visit my website, www.bully-proof-U.S.A.com, and check it out. And also pass it on. Pass on the information about my website. There you can read some excerpts of some books I've written, and I think you might find them very interesting. And if you do, maybe you'll buy one of them. They're not that expensive. $8.95 and $9.95, depending on which book you buy. And the first book, 10 Chapters That Can Change Your Life, Part 2, is a sequel to Part 1. But don't worry about Part 1. I wasn't crazy about that book anyway, and I kind of wrote it as a joke, although some of my family and friends thought it was great, but I think this one is better. That title does need an explanation. It's kind of just a glimpse into my life before, during, and after I became a cop. And my most recent work is a two-part novel based on the truth. And believe me, I think Part 1 will totally blow you away. You could either do a search under books at Amazon.com, or you can go to my website, Bully-Proof-U.S.A, and sign up for a Create Space account. It'll give you, I have links on my website that will take you directly to whichever book you choose to buy. That kind of says it all right there. I'm not looking to get rich. And if I sell 100,000 books, which really is kind of doable when you consider that we have over 7 billion people on this planet, I can be up and running in almost no time, and I can have this school operating for 3 years. And I'll keep you posted as to how close I'm getting to my goal. Now, word about suicide, or specifically bullycide. Death is permanent. I think that's a gross understatement, but I have people in my life that I would never put through that. No matter what kind of nonsense I'm going through, no matter what kind of pain, I've had broken hearts, I've lost family members, I've lost friends, I still wouldn't take my own life. And I would never give a bully the satisfaction of knowing that he caused me to take my own life. And imagine walking in on somebody and finding them dead. And imagine somebody that you love walking in on you and finding you dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound or hanging from the ceiling. That's just not fair. Don't end your pain at the price of causing them pain. Talk to somebody. There's nothing you can't handle on this planet if you get help, the right help. Talk to a friend. Talk to a priest. Talk to somebody. I remember a few years ago when the computer was first popular, around 1995 or so. I met a woman online. We never became romantically involved or anything, but we started chatting, and eventually we started talking on the phone. And one day she sounded particularly upset. I talked to her to let me come over to her house. It was about a 2-hour drive into Jersey. And I go over there, I drank some tea, I held her hand for a couple of hours, and we talked about different things. I kissed her on the cheek and bid her good night. And she told me a couple of years later that on that night she was planning on killing herself, and the reason why she didn't was because I was the first person in a long time that was actually nice to her. Now, you're going to find some people out there that are going to promise you the world and hand you a plastic globe. They're going to say, give me $39.95 and you can sit on the beach drinking beer and make thousands of dollars a day. That ain't going to happen. And I've never committed a crime in my life, and even if I did, I would never beg for money for a defense attorney. But there are people out there that have got no shame. Maybe I'm being a little bit too judgmental, I don't know. But I think that there are too many people in this world that expect something for nothing. There are even people who ask you to support their kids. And then you get the people that just don't want to work at all. Well, I'm not one of those people. I don't fit in any of those categories. And most of you who are looking at this right now don't know me, so if you don't trust me, I don't blame you. But if you choose not to buy one of my books, I still want to ask you to do me a favor. Don't turn your back on a kid when he asks you for help. Don't turn your back on an adult when he asks you for help. Do what you have to do, but get involved, please. This problem is everyone's. And there's my personal email address. If you put YouTube video in the subject line, I'll try to answer as many mails as I can. If I get 1 or 2 a day, or even 10 a day, I'll answer them all. But if this thing happens to go viral and I get like 1,000 a day, well, I'll do my best. But please, if you have any questions or you want to leave me a comment or whatever, just write to me. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. We're just about done. We're coming up on the 13-minute mark, so I'm not too much off the mark. But think about it this way. With all the money we spend daily on junk, can you afford $9 or $10 to make a difference in somebody's life? And that's me. I didn't always look like that. When I first joined the police department over 30 years ago, I was 127 pounds soaking wet. But once you learn to be confident, even when you're scared to death, and you make people believe that you can handle yourself, and you're not going to take any of the nonsense, you're well on your way to never having to deal with a bully again. And when you do get there, and you will, please, don't forget to help those who can't help themselves. Thank you for your time, and until next time, I want you to remember